10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to the Realest podcast. I'm Blake Carter, joined by Kyle Wilmore and Andrew Bass. And as usual, we're here with the Smackdown Live edition of August 2nd. And what was that? I'm pretty sure we just heard Satan himself. Well, what a mediocre show. I mean, I can tell you right now, I think there's going to be a triple threat match for the WWE title.
Really? I don't know. I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible at this point.
With
I don't think
everything
they
that's
should do it,
happening,
but yeah.
I mean, if that happens, it kind of like it's like, oh well, we don't know how this will go, but we're just gonna make it a triple threat because we know that Bray can deliver.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible because I mean they put two faces in the main event, and maybe they want that heel presence kind of thing. So I mean, they could just throw Bray Wyatt in there.
That's point. Just the thing, though. Like both Ziggler and Ambrose exhibited like heel-like personas. Like Dean at the beginning of the show and Dolph Ziggler throughout the show. Like I was like, somebody's turned heel. Like whether or not it's tonight or like next week, somebody's turned heel.
Man, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to turn. I think when Dean at the beginning of the night was kind of pushing Dolph, it was more like basically proving points that Dolph has been like this low guy for a long time kind of thing. He's trying to push out, make Dolph like bigger because he's really like a huge underdog in this match kind of thing. So they're trying to build him up kind of thing at this point. I think that's just what I don't think they were really like. I don't think we're going to see a heel turn out of either of them. I think they'll stay face the entire time. I just think like they're showing a few tendencies to kind of build the rivalry, make it better, make them like hate each other.
It was a good promo. There is one thing I'm scared of, though, and that's being that they're going to push Dolph and they're going to shove him down our face too much and too hard. Let it organically come. I mean, it was kind of obvious that this whole match with Bray Wyatt was going to happen after you've never done anything. You haven't proven anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope they don't shove him down our throats.
I do too, but I mean, it's definitely possible because they see right now that the crowd does not like him kind of thing. They don't want him to be in the main event SummerSlam, so they're like, okay, well, let's keep pushing Dolph to make the crowd like him kind of thing, because that totally worked before.
I mean, there were still people chanting for Dolph Ziggler. I mean, let's not get it wrong. It wasn't like as bad as Roman Reigns. I mean, you guys are making it sound like it was as bad as Roman Reigns. It's not nearly the case. I mean, it can get to that point if they continue to push Dolph Ziggler, like Blake said, but we're not quite at Roman Reigns level yet.
Well, you won't be at Roman Reigns status because they're not going to do. I don't think they'll do that with Dolph. But what I mean by all that is, yeah, there's people cheering for Dolph, but I mean, you can throw up that you do have the hardcore, like smart Dolph Ziggler fans, and then there's the kids and the females. But there is the other part of the smart fans that are like, Bray Wyatt really deserves this spot.
Oh, yeah.
You can throw in...
And I thought he was going to take it tonight.
You can also obviously throw in, well, he was a jobber just like Dolph, but his character is more over than Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, easily. And plus, heel against face always works. Face against face is kind of iffy to watch.
Yeah, 50-50.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, sometimes it works. I mean, I could tell you a few times where it has worked.
Well, we're not saying it's not work. Yeah. It has never worked. It's always 50-50 with the face versus face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most recent is Rock and Cena, both of them. What's going on, Jordan Ramsey?
Yeah, sometimes it can work, sometimes it can't. Depends kind of on the superstars doing it kind of thing. But I think Dean and Dolph, I don't think it'll go well if being face with face. That doesn't mean I'm saying to throw Bray Wyatt and make it a triple threat match. I don't think they should do that at all. I think they should keep it a one-on-one. But it's just going to take a lot to really build this feud and make it really well, especially because this is probably going to main event SummerSlam. I don't know if it'd be the exact main event, but I have a feeling the title matches will both be in the main events. And for that to do that, this feud needs to be built a lot better, and they have time to do it. But we have to see if they have it in their ability, writing wise, to make it a great feud. And right now it's a decent feud. It's not good, but they can definitely build it to be better. I'm interested to see if they can do it.
Well, see, that's my thing. I'm not sure what's better, because at the beginning of that, I was kind of like, all right, Bray Wyatt's definitely going to win this match. Why? Because they're seeing the fan reactions to it, and Bray Wyatt deserves to be there. Like, if they were going to, in my opinion, I feel like if they were going to include Bray Wyatt, they should have done so right then and there. And then I'm kind of thinking about a triple threat match, and I'm kind of like, it makes sense, but it kind of doesn't make sense at the same time. I feel like having a triple threat match isn't exactly what Bray Wyatt needs. Bray Wyatt more or less needed to take that away from Dolph Ziggler and have a one-on-one match and dominate and take out Dean Ambrose.
If you want my opinion, I think tonight should have been a 30-minute main event. Because I really think creative really needs to see what Dolph can do with 30 minutes. Because he hasn't had a good, long 30-minute match in a while. When's the last time he's held a belt? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So, we haven't seen that 30-minute match that, usually happens with a belt at a pay-per-view. So, it's kind of like, okay, well, I thought tonight could have been, well, let's see who can pull it off. And, basically go in with so-and-so. Like, you could go in, Dolph, you're going to win the match. And the referee coming in saying, never mind, Bray will win this match. Because they've done that before. Where the referee will change, like, they'll tell the referee to tell whomever that they're winning that match. They could have done it like that, but that could have been controversy, but I don't know, that's just my, food for thought there.
Well, one thing I didn't like about how the match ended was that Dolph, like, blatantly taking the cover off the turnbuckle and then blatantly hitting Bray Wyatt's head on it and then him with super kick. Like, I mean, I'm not saying the match should have ended in DQ, but shouldn't that be grounds for a disqualification? He deliberately took off the turnbuckle and then hit Bray into it. Like, what?
Well, in the Attitude Era would have been a disqualification.
It should be, though. I mean, I don't want the match to end in a DQ, but, like, logically, he should be. That's basically him going outside the ring, getting a chair, and hitting Bray in the face and then super kicking. It's the same degree. Like, what the fuck?
Well, then it comes into that point where these rules are never followed. Rarely do we see rules followed.
I guess
Which
they
is
wanted to make it look
annoying
like Dolph
because what's the point of even having rules then if you
Right.
don't follow it,
I guess they just want to make it like, hey, look, Dolph has an attitude kind of thing. Dolph can be, like, do whatever it takes to win, basically. That's what they're trying to make it look like, but I don't like the way they did it, because, like I said, that should be grounds for a disqualification.
Right. Well, I mean, like, you look at it this way, like, we know it's fake, we know it's scripted, but, like, don't insult our intelligence as fans of wrestling. We know what the rules are. You can get away with doing things without deviating from those rules. That's the way I look at it. Like, you don't have to repeatedly go outside the boundaries of what we know is grounds for disqualification versus not grounds for disqualification. Just work around it.
Right.
Because then you get, like, level-headed people like us who get pissed off whenever we see something like this where a champion gets pinned and they don't get their match, or Dolph Ziggler pulls off the turnbuckle and hits him with the unexposed turnbuckle and doesn't get disqualified for it. It just it takes away from the product from the simple, level-headed WWE fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. Randy Orton getting F5 by Brock Lesnar I could see that happening since last Monday or yesterday.
Oh, yeah, you had to know that was going to happen. Yeah, obviously. I mean, Randy Orton invades Raw. You got to know Brock's going to invade SmackDown no matter what.
My only issue with that is they did not sell that at all. I'll be honest. I'm a fan of both of them, but they did not sell it. And I say it only in terms of, like, they built that up so much to the point where, like you said, we kind of expected it since it happened last night. But then he just showed up, gave a 1 F5, and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
I would have waited a couple weeks because the RKO was more impactful than the F5. 100%.
Absolutely.
It made it too predictable, and if it didn't happen tonight, it would have been like, whoa, it didn't happen.
What's he doing? What's he planning?
What's going on here? And then have like a week or two, have Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, or just Paul Heyman react to it on Raw. That's just my opinion. Obviously, they're not going to go that way, but they're playing it safe. Being predictable is sometimes a good way to do it, and they played it safe. So
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I guarantee we'll see like on Raw. This is like the best way they can do it because the issue is that both of them are drafted to different brands, so they're trying to build this feud more and more, but it's difficult because they're both on separate brands. All they could do is like we see Brock and Paul Heyman and Brock talk on Raw about like shit talking Randy Orton kind of thing, and then SmackDown Randy rebuttals. Then we wait 6 days to see like another rebuttal. That's the bad part. That's why they have to break the rules like this, which is cool to see. Yeah, but I mean. I don't know how they're gonna go with it on Raw now. Like they basically like shot already what they had. Like the only thing they could really do now. What's next? We're just seeing them just talk like on each Raw and SmackDown now. I don't know what could be next for them.
Well,
I don't
you
know.
look at it this way. I mean, this isn't like a general interpromotional match. Like these aren't two full-time superstars. This is, Brock Lesnar who only has a X amount of number of appearances on his contract. So it's kind of like, well, what else are they going to do, if anything? I wouldn't be surprised if we just don't see anything of Brock Lesnar, until like maybe the week before SummerSlam or the week before that or something like that. It's not going to be every week. It's because Brock Lesnar has never, been consistent when it comes to him showing up because he doesn't have that many days in his contract. So it's kind of like it's not what we're used to looking at. It's something they have to kind of make do with. So I guess it's what their plan was to kind of get it all out of the way now and, build up anticipation for the pay-per-view in a few weeks.
This is going to be totally off topic. Juan, where were you yesterday? We were saying good things about Roman Reigns yesterday, and you weren't there.
Absolutely. We were sanctinizing Roman Reigns,
If
man.
we have to hate on him, I'll hate on him some more. No, but I actually here's a quick thought. This is from this is something from yesterday's show. Randy Orton came from under the ring.
Did he really?
Did he sit there the entire 3 hours, or was he like in disguise and went under the ring?
That's a good question.
Maybe they
I
had
didn't
like
even
a
realize he
trap door.
came from under the ring. It looked like he came from the crowd, but like with the camera angles, it's definitely hard to tell.
Maybe like they have like a little trap door kind of thing under like the ring kind of thing you can go through. Because I mean, there's no way he was sitting there for like 2.5 hours, almost 3, kind of thing. There's no way. There's
Well,
no
a
way.
good apex predator never reveals his secrets.
One,
Yeah, have like TV and stuff
Juan
under
wants
there.
to know if we can talk about Roman Reigns again. Probably not into full detail like we did, but I will
Yeah,
say
we can touch on
We
it.
can give you the Cliff Notes version. How's that?
we basically said that we like that he is at the mid card stage, but I don't know if it was all of us, but I'm gonna say all of us. And if you guys didn't agree with what I said, then say it. I think we all agreed upon that we don't like that he's immediately in a title picture, but we like that he wasn't forced 3 times in a Monday Night Raw like we usually see. No, he wasn't a heel, but and that's the only way he'll ever get everyone behind him. But again, we didn't see Roman Reigns 3 or 4 times in a show, and it's also good for him because he's facing Rusev and they have really good chemistry, and Rusev is someone that everyone hates because the guy hates on the US of A all the time. That's really it. I mean, did I miss anything, or do you guys disagree with something?
Well, I mean, it
Oh,
honestly
no,
looked
yeah.
like they're trying to build it up towards Roman Reigns as the one who's going to dethrone Rusev. But I mean, if it were up to me, I'd keep him out of the title picture for a little bit, just until the dust settles. Because if he immediately wins another title, it's kind of like saying, okay, well, you made a mistake, and we took you out of the main title picture, but it's okay because we're going to give you a consolation prize. You can have a mid-card title, you can dominate that area, and then in a few months, we'll take you back up to the main card.
Yeah,
Go
I don't
ahead.
know.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I figure like what's gonna happen. He's either gonna dethrone Rusev and take the U.S. title and go on a run with that, or we're gonna see him lose and then like heel turning kind of thing. I mean, that would be perfect. That's his perfect out to be able to heel turn. Now that he's kind of going for the U.S. title picture, he could be in the mid card for a while, and he's not kind of forced to be that like the only face, like the top face kind of thing. He's out of that picture. Now he's in the mid card, so now he can kind of just like chill there. He could be a heel finally and work that angle. That'd be great for him. But
I totally agree with you, Kyle. I mean, that would be the perfect time because you can imagine it right now. Like, oh,
Exactly.
well, you still booed me even though I was facing Rusev, the worst person on the planet, that type deal. Fuck
Right.
you
Yeah, he
guys.
could easily win that.
I hate
and he had the
you.
perfect opportunity
Now,
to do
this
it.
will be the last question we talk about with Monday Night Raw, because we do need to continue with the SmackDown Live. Now, if after the SmackDown Live you're still here and you're wanting to hear us say more, be our guest to say something if you're wanting us to say. But this will be the last one, and it's: do you think Roman Reigns will win or lose at SummerSlam? You ask me, they're making Rusev this big monster. He hasn't beaten anybody huge. He beat Mark Henry, he's beaten Titus O'Neil twice, and he beat Zack Ryder. Nothing to make a name of himself. I think if you're wanting Rusev to be the monster he is with that U.S. title, then you have him beat Roman Reigns, and then there's also the heel turn.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to really predict exactly what's going to happen. We'll save that, for SummerSlam prediction show, our exact predictions on the match. Like I said, what I see happening is either we see Roman Reigns be, the golden boy kind of thing. He dethrones Rusev. He has his title there since Vince loves him so much, the company loves him, that kind of thing. He either defeats Rusev, has his run with the title, or any heel turns, because like we said before, that'd be his perfect time to turn which we've been all waiting for. All the smart fans like he really should be. So this is his perfect opportunity.
Yeah, well, let's get back to with SmackDown. I don't know. With Dolph Ziggler, obviously, I'm not gonna be like, well, fuck Ziggler. I'm not gonna give him a chance at all. I'm gonna give him the chance. I'm going to see. Let's see if he can do it. But if you want my opinion, if they make this a triple threat match, in a way, it's kind of like, okay, well, we know the fans really want Bray, or it's we really don't think Dolph can deliver. Let's put Bray in there just to see if he can do it or not.
Yeah, because at the top of the night, we even saw when Bray came out and laid out Ziggler, he even said, he challenges him to a match, where Bray wins, he gets the more contenders match. You heard the crowd. They cheered. They are not supposed to cheer for that kind of situation. They should be, booing and saying, no, we want Dolph in the match kind of thing. There was a large portion of the crowd that cheered for the possibility of Bray Wyatt taking Ziggler's place. That's not what you want for a guy in the main event picture who is a face. You do not want that.
That's the problem with guys like Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt, popular heels, Kevin Owens, people that should be booed, and they get a little bit of boos whenever they do something that gains heat, but they're cheered because they like the character. I mean, what is there not to like about Bray Wyatt's character? He's the closest thing to The Undertaker we've seen, in forever, So, I mean, people like him because he has that mysterious drawing character that the Undertaker had, which was up until that point unheard of.
If you want my opinion, it's with Kevin Owens, keep him as a heel for a while, but with Seth Rollins, they should have done a double switch. Roman turns heel, Seth goes face, because Seth he's to that point where the only people that are booing him are the females and the children. So he'd be a good face for a little bit, but I understand them keeping him heel, give him more people behind him, because like we've stated many times, every great face was a heel at one point. With Bray, he's had they've had time to organically follow him, so Bray could have a face turn. The greatest example this year of a heel turning into a great face is the New Day. The New Day just a year ago were hated by everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And look, they are the most popular thing and the best thing that WWE has right now. So 100%, I think in due time these people will turn face. I honestly think Kevin Owens should forever be a heel. The guy is, in my
amazing.
opinion, other than Samoa Joe, because I still think right now Samoa Joe is the best heel in the company. He's up there. 100%. And by the way, I am look, tomorrow is going to be such a good day. I get to do the video game podcast, which I'm so excited to end game tomorrow. We're going to be doing state of video games since the next-gen consoles. What I mean by that is video games lately, since the next-gen consoles, have been kind of really hyped and a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Vision.
The Division, Watch Dogs. I mean, so it's going to be a lot of great topics with the video game with those topics. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for that. And Lord, I lost it. And also Bobby Roode. He makes his first appearance tomorrow as a heel. I cannot wait for that.
Oh
I
man.
know. Kyle and I have like a major hard on for him, and
Oh yeah.
Andrew's gonna finally get to experience Bobby Roode.
Gotta
As like
drink
a
it
fresh face
in,
kind of guy, yeah.
man.
No, I think you'll like him though. He's definitely going to be like he's like a fresh kind of. He's not like an overdue heel where like there's been just guys like all drawn out to the same kind of heels. He'll definitely be different. I think he'll be great. He's going to do great things in my opinion. And I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to like have a big hard on for the guy, but me and Blake have seen him since his career in TNA, which is where he started, and we really know how great of a character he is, especially as a heel. And to know he's coming in as a heel tomorrow is very exciting.
Oh, 100%. I really cannot wait for Bobby Roode because the guy is still to this day one of my favorite heels for TNA. He was that like fucking douchebag, annoying prick heel, and he was great at it.
And that's the best. Those
And
are the best heels.
and that's what he's gonna do tomorrow.
Hmm.
F5 out of nowhere, yeah. F5 out of nowhere, 100%. I mean, again,
Not really. We
yeah.
saw him in the crowd, then we saw him walk in.
Unless you're a kid or
Yeah, that
I don't
was a
know
big letdown.
how old are you are, but unless you're someone that doesn't watch the product a lot and isn't super serious with it, you kind of saw this coming. I actually text Kyle and Andrew, and as soon as Randy Orton's music hit, I said, "Here comes Brock Lesnar. Mark my words."
Yeah, I even said Lesnar on the show. Like Mark, like we're gonna see Lesnar turn. Obviously, I mean, we saw Orton on Raw. We got to see Lesnar on SmackDown, kind of do invade the show, pay back Orton, that kind of thing. And like I said before, is that I don't know what we're gonna see next time on Raw or SmackDown because that was basically their trump card to have each guy invade the shows. Now, what's next? We have a good amount of time until SummerSlam,
We
and
have
I don't know what we're gonna
3
see next for
weeks.
this.
We have 3 weeks
Yeah,
to
I don't know
plan
what they're
right
doing
now.
for this feud next. I mean, the feud's already been hyped for a while. They've done well with it now, but like now, what else do you do with it? You had each guy invade the shows, and because they're on different brands, it's so hard to keep this feud like great. What are they just gonna like keep talking to each other
Talk
on
shit.
different shows with your rebuttal? That's all. Yeah, but that's shitty. That's gonna not make it. That's not gonna help it. Even like Paul Heyman's not gonna help this feud if he's just talking the whole time. It'll be same shit. It's gonna be boring as
No,
hell.
I think what they should do is just talk a lot of trash for the next 2 weeks. Basically, do a promo off each other, and then either the SmackDown Go Home show or the Raw Go Home show, you have them just in an all-out brawl,
Oh yeah, we'll see that.
like to
I
the
guarantee.
point where the entire locker like that will make that even better. But as of right now, we need a promo from Randy Orton. We did get one from Battleground, but not everyone got to see it because not everyone has WWE Network. So we need one from Orton. I say we need one more from Paul Heyman addressing the Orton getting F5'd and Orton coming out of nowhere with the RKO, which if it's Paul Heyman, I can already see it. He's gonna throw in. You came from our backs. Lesnar came in from right in front of you. Blah blah blah. So if they do this right, I can actually get invested into this match with promos because, like I said, you need to keep SmackDown people off of Raw. And I think as of right
Hmm.
now, Randy Orton is the only person that should be on SmackDown. Occasionally like yesterday, which I kind of like that the entire roster got out there like, GTFO, why are you here, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to
Yeah.
watch my mouth because I don't want to cuss way too much. So,
Right.
but I think it would have been a lot better if Orton cut a promo saying, "Did you see what I did last night?" That's all it took, and Lesnar's done, and that be it. And then Heyman and Lesnar basically next week respond, and then the next day or something like that, boom, out of nowhere,
That's
Yeah.
the thing I
Exactly.
thought it was missing though was that giant brawl you spoke of. Like when he F5'd him and just walked away, and you see him walk into his car. I expected Orton to breeze right past him and start attacking him.
I think that would have been great. I wish we just saw that.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to see it, but I think as of right now, the best bet is to wait for a go home show, and that be either the way the show closes out, or that be like a backstage brawl, like, well, we're back and we're gonna be updating you guys on what happened, blah blah blah, stuff like that.
Hmm.
American Alpha debuted today. I love American Alpha, but I wasn't crazy into it.
I was hanging off my edge of my seat the entire time.
It was good. It was actually really refreshing to see Jason Jordan get his ass beat a little bit. So
Yeah. I thought they looked really good, though. I was happy for it. I mean, definitely they built it up well, like waiting a week to see them. People were excited to see it. They got a big pop. And I liked it that they didn't just come out and treat it like a squash match where they just, like, even though, yes, it was the Vaudevillains either way, I'm glad we didn't see them come out and completely decimate them. We got to see them come in. They beat down, like, Vaudevillains. They showed off a little bit. Then we saw Vaudevillains beat them down, and then American Alpha come back and, like, beat them down a little bit, win, that kind of thing. That's what I'd like to see. Like I said, I didn't want them to treat it like a squash match. I'm glad they treated it like a real match, like a real debut, which
I
is a lot better for me to see.
I agree. I think if it would have been a squash match, and again, squash matches never end well, in my opinion, for some stars. Never does. And I guarantee you, with like Braun Strowman, I don't think it'll end well for him. I think he's going to get a push, and no one's ever going to get behind him. Nia Jax could possibly do it because, again, I think her size is what's going to be playing in her favor.
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to think of what else really happened in SmackDown.
What else
What
happened,
about
dude?
the breaking
Styles and
news,
Cena.
man?
I don't know why I
What
went
were
blank.
these?
Styles and Cena. That was this was in my because the first promo that in the first feud, Styles went fucking in on every promo on Cena. So it was nice to see Cena be able to come in and basically go off on Styles for a promo, which that was good. Honestly and truthfully, Styles and Cena are so good on the mic, and I love the small cheap shots they took on each other. I love
Oh
it,
yeah, dude,
especially
it was
with
great.
Cena.
Especially like
Great.
Cena going into. Oh yeah, dude, Cena went in, especially like talking about how his life of him, like how much he loves his business too. That was great to hear too. That was great, pointing out the kid in the crowd. Like these two are amazing on the mic, but even better in the ring. And I'm dying for SummerSlam. I was dying for it before even the match got announced. When we first saw them at Money in the Bank already, like I want to see them again. I want to see them tear the house down. I cannot wait.
I can say right now that's going to be match of the night, SummerSlam.
Oh, easily, dude. I would just wish they could put a stipulation on it. I honestly wish that the match card for SummerSlam wasn't so stacked, so we could see like a great stipulations match. Like I said last night, like an Iron Man match. Imagine these guys in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Oh my god, it'd be amazing. I wish we could, but the card is just like so stacked they can't really fit it on there. I really wish we could.
Well, I'm just letting everyone know, cuss words for WWE is probably not going to happen for the rest of the month. John Cena said ass about 3 or 4 times, so I'm a grown-ass man.
He used them all.
And then, of course, last night,
With Paul Heyman, yeah.
Finn Balor, the only thing you're going to get at SummerSlam is your ass.
It's yours.
I was like, what?
Yep, we're out of curse words for the month, boys.
He's getting his ass at SummerSlam? Is it missing?
Dude, hand delivered. Didn't hand deliver to him.
Yeah,
gonna find
so I think we're out of cuss words for this month. But then again, from what I've heard, WWE was going to go with a lot edgier stuff with PG. So it makes sense that, we're getting a lot more of cuss words or swear words included into these sorry, I was reading something. I was reading something about Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. But I was like, what's going on here? And nothing crazy. But we can confirm, Daniel Bryan confirmed it. If I'm not mistaken, it's on Twitter. There will be another women's title with SmackDown, which I think with SmackDown will be the developmental for the women. But speaking of, Eva Marie was, what the fuck?
Dude, what the hell was that?
That was the greatest tragedy in professional sports today.
What the fuck did we
Poor
watch?
Eva Marie probably hurt herself coming off the turnbuckle. It was a tragedy, and I hope that she has a really nice, speedy recovery,
It
and that she's
honestly wasn't
okay.
real.
I know, I'm just being an asshole.
I know you are, but like it obviously wasn't real because of the fact that the announcer said something, and also the referee didn't throw up the X. If you ever see a referee throw up the X, someone is hurt.
Yeah.
But I was like,
And if you don't
what?
if you don't believe us, watch the Money in the Bank ladder match with Ric Flair in it when he got suplexed off the top of the ladder there. He hurt himself really bad.
Payback with Enzo.
Yeah, but it was a Money in the Bank ladder match.
I'm talking about with Sting, I was there live when Sting broke his neck, and I thought the X was about to be thrown up when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know what that was though. Like, what the fuck? I think they're trying they're trying way too hard to make people hate Eva that they're not even letting her get in the ring and do what she's supposed to
Just
do.
let
It's
her.
like, okay,
Just let her do her thing. Everyone fucking hates her.
yeah, let's have her
She's
come
got the
out.
most obnoxious
Yeah.
entrance.
Oh my
All
god!
red everything.
Even
Already
without
done on
that, people
purpose.
fucking hate. Oh my god! No, but like, what I don't get though is that they have her come out in her 5 minute entrance as soon as the match was to start. No, she fakes an injury and like, okay, like what? You want people to hate her so much you're not even gonna have her wrestle anymore? You're gonna have her keep like what feigning injuries to not wrestle. People will hate her more because she won't get in the ring. Just let her do what she's supposed to do. Just let her do it. Forget hating her. People already hate her more than anything. She's hated by everyone. She's retarded. She shouldn't be here. Her entrance is the worst thing ever. Like, oh my god. It's such. Just let her wrestle. Dude. I thought honestly it was going to be Eva Marie wrestling like Becky Lynch and Becky Lynch taking her to the fall. I was really sad
Don't
for
you?
it.
Don't you
I thought
hate
it was
on one of the
Becky
best
Lynch needs some
wrestlers
wins.
to ever lace up the boots?
Yeah, and then you have Natalia and Carmella coming at it. Like, you could tell Carmella was, like, going on purpose because that's not her interest. Her interest is, I'm the princess of Staten Island. How you
Yeah, she changed it.
doing? I was like, what the fuck?
I'll be honest though, I'm looking forward to this. I think this will be a good feud, and I think it'll be good for Carmella to establish herself as a legit player in the superstar, as a superstar in the WWE.
There's still nothing as cringeworthy as last night with Enzo and fucking Sasha Banks.
Oh my
How you
god,
doing?
that
How
was
you
awful.
doing? How you doing? How you
How you
doing? How
doing?
you
That
doing?
was the
I
worst
like,
thing ever. That's why I hated that opening. Yeah, I hated that opening.
It was. Oh God. We also have Apollo Crews being the #1 contender for the IC.
I think you mean Apollo Creed.
Oh yeah, Apollo Creed.
Sorry. Yeah, Apollo Creed.
Apollo
Dana-
Creed, I thought that was
sorry to interrupt you.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just had to point out Dana Bryan had a lot of flubs tonight. Like I don't know what was happening. He's not like ready for this yet. Talking like kind of thing without just like being on a promo. He just like talks backstage.
Yeah. We have Apollo Crews. We finally get a sort of an identity with Apollo Crews being being the face. It kind of made sense that Baron Corbin wasn't going to go for the title. I mean, a heel versus heel would have never it would not have ended well. Because you can't do a switch with any of them because the Miz, we've already seen what he can do as a face, and he was fucking awful. Baron Corbin, we've seen what he was as a face at NXT. Awful. The guy is a great heel. So it was between Kalisto and Apollo Crews 100%, and of course they weren't going to have Kalisto win that because we've already seen what he can do with the U.S. title. It was awful. The guy cannot talk on the microphone at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very, very obvious that Apollo Crews was going to win this, and he did, and then Baron Corbin just whipped all of their asses.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing I was going to point out. We saw a Bray Wyatt situation where after the match, Baron Corbin laid out the Miz. So do we see next week, do we see Baron Corbin and Miz just have a match kind of like just for the hell of it, or do we see Baron Corbin get thrown into the title picture? That's what I was thinking about. Because that's a possibility. They could just like throw him in because he laid out everybody. He didn't lay out Apollo Crews. He was starting to. But he laid out the Miz, and like that's how the next week we're either going to see a match between the Miz and him, or we're going to see him thrown into the title picture, which I think that'd be interesting.
The only time you
That'd
would
be
really
cool.
see that happen is if they make it a triple threat, and in that case, I would have Baron Corbin run with it, but he's not ready. So I would say leave him out.
I just want to see him in a title picture. I want to see him in a legitimate feud, man. Forget like Dolph Ziggler kind of thing. I want to see a real feud with that guy. He's so entertaining. I love watching him.
And we all know his problem, and that being that he doesn't adjust to someone that's a high flyer. Now, the last thing that we do have to talk about is Rhino and Heath Slater. Heath Slater will have a match next week on SmackDown, and if he wins, he will have a SmackDown contract. So will we see someone else debut next week? The rumor was this week that Kurt Hawkins was going to debut, so let's see if something happens next week. It's kind of like crazy because it kind of reminds me of like when Raw 1000th episode happened. You know how he was like facing off all of the legends, and then Lita came out and all that. So it's going to be interesting because I'm actually kind of enjoying what Heath Slater is doing, but I mean it's just classic Heath Slater stuff. He's saying.
I wonder if they're saving him for something bigger. You know, like to make an impact somehow. When he finally joins a brand, it's going to be him doing something that kind of makes him stand out for once. I would like to see that because, like I said, I think he's good on the microphone, and I think that if he was given the right push and if he was given the right opportunity, he could actually be a decent mid Carter. You know?
And I hate to even say this, but I honestly have a feeling that even if Heath Slater was to be let go, I honestly do not think that he would be anything crazy in the independent scene. I could be totally wrong because the independent scene will basically bow down to anyone that comes from WWE, but there's no telling.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, you
true.
look at somebody like Luke Gallows, though. I mean, Luke Gallows, he wasn't that special when he was in WWE,
But
and then he left and became something
But he made
in
a
the
name
independent
for
scene.
himself in the independent scene.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. I'm saying like it's like you see people leave from the WWE who are completely nothing. Not Gallows.
I can give
Drew
you.
McIntyre,
Yeah,
I think it was his name.
he's
He's
the
big on
champ.
the independent scene.
He's the champion for TNA, isn't he? Or is it Bobby Lashley?
No, it's Bobby Lashley. He was a champion though previously.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre is a part-time worker for TNA, and he's in the title picture all the time. So, but then again, that's because Dixie Carter, and excuse my French here, she'll I'm not even gonna say it, but she bends over backwards for WWE stars. Like with TNA,
Right.
like they had Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, people that deserve to be in the top spot, but she would give them to the WWE stars or former WWE stars instead, because she watched them on TV and she knew that they came from WWE and she thought that that would sell tickets. I think the current product for TNA is really good, but they have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, right.
Not a lot anymore to talk about, but what would you guys think of this? Obviously, I think this show was a lot better than last week's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely a step up.
But comparing it to this week's Raw, where is it?
I mean, I would definitely give it a lot, but I would give it like an 8. Honestly, I thought it was a great show. I really did. I mean, it definitely ran smoothly, not just for the 2 hours, but definitely ran smoothly. I thought it was great.
I'll give it a 6. I wouldn't say it was an 8, but
No, I definitely agree with 8. I mean,
damn.
last night I was completely bored, so like at least they kept my attention all night. So
But we know why they kept your attention. You can't deny it either. You can't deny it.
well, what are you gonna say? American Alpha.
You had American Alpha, Eva Marie. You had Dolph Ziggler main event. Like, come on. We know what
We didn't see
what
Alexa
kept your
Bliss, though.
attention.
Oh, we're missing one major like thing.
Yeah,
Like,
the Alexa Bliss.
hey,
man.
Kevin. There's only one person we're missing from this show, and that's Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens. If he was on SmackDown, man, it'd be like a 12 out of 12 every
12 out of
single
12.
week.
One thing I want to say though, do we see a Shelton Benjamin promo tonight or no? Will that put like
No.
a commercial for him?
I
That
don't
was
know.
I
weird. I
cannot
was
wait
surprised
for
to see
Shelton Benjamin.
I can, but like they
He
should
needs to come
be
now.
like promoting him more. Where they didn't promote it this week. I'm surprised. It should be. I want to see. I hope we see him like next
You
week
don't-
or in 2 weeks.
You don't want to
Once-
overhype it for it to be nothing.
Well, here's my question: what does he show up as? Is he face or heel? Because he was successful as both.
They need a heel. They need heels bad.
I don't know. I don't know because I mean,
Top
Shelton Benjamin is the
spot
kind of
wise, they need
guy.
heels.
No, yeah, I agree, but I mean, I think they're gonna. I think he might come back as a face because, like, for what he is and for how they're hyping him kind of thing, it's like they're basically promoting him to come in as a face kind of thing. At least in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think he'll come in as a face. I mean, I would rather him come in as a heel. I think it'd be cool to do that, but I guarantee he comes in as a face. So they're just.
I mean, they
the
could
way
take
they're
a gamble
promoting
with him. They could do the same thing they did with AJ Styles, have him be a face for a few pay-per-views and have him turn heel, and then it's a win-win anyway.
I can see them doing that
Well,
usually, or something like that.
that's a whole other topic about AJ Styles, but I'll say this. I do think that this week's SmackDown was a lot better than last week's, but I still think Raw was a altogether, all-around better show. Even though last week was a lot of promos, again, I think with Raw last week set the bar high. And I think we expected something crazy to happen with last week, so I think Raw was still a better show. I gave it a 7. I'm giving SmackDown a 6. I'm trying to be really hard on my ratings because I don't want to give, because I've been really polite and saying, hey, this was really good. It was like an 8 and a 9. And then for the next week, it turned into a 2. We know where this product has been. The product can still be better, but I do think that Raw was a better show all around. than SmackDown. And if
Yeah.
this continues to happen, then it shows it's like, really? Because SmackDown is 2 hours. So SmackDown, in reality, should be a better show. But
Right.
um, if the chat has anything they're wanting us to talk about, we could talk about that. I'm not going to stay on too much longer because, the one great thing about SmackDown is the shows don't run until midnight. So
Yeah.
we've been going on for 40 minutes. Again, another thing is also be sure if you guys are enjoying what you're listening to support us. It's free. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button. We go live every Monday and Tuesday with the Monday Night Raw review and the SmackDown live review. If you're a fan of video games, tomorrow it is not. We do not know if we're going to be live tomorrow. If we're going to be it's going to be a recorded show. But tomorrow we'll be doing in game. It's going to be state of video games again. We're basically going to be talking about everything with next gen consoles. We're not going to be talking about Xbox 360 games or PS3 games. We're going to be talking about next gen consoles. How games have been super hyped and how there's been letdowns and how they've lived up to the hype, etc. etc. That will be going on tomorrow. And again, next big thing will be next week, not this week. WWE turn heel Dolph Ziggler. No, they would have done it.
I thought
tonight.
about it.
They would have done it tonight.
I thought somebody was going to go heel tonight the way they were doing it.
You can't.
No, I just think they're gonna be fucking with each other, kind of thing.
At this point, you can't turn. It's already kind of too late now because you're going to have 2 weeks left of storytelling. It wouldn't make sense to have 2 more TV tapings or TV shows to have 1 week have him turn heel, and then now you have to tell a whole different story of why he turned heel. Dean Ambrose has never been a face. The only time he's ever shown himself as a face is when he talks and defends Roman Reigns. He's always been in the middle.
He's really just like with
Questionable.
the crowd. That's all he does, though. But I mean, I think because especially because we're seeing two faces against each other, we can't see them both being babyface at each other. We have to see them kind of have an attitude, go at each other, talk shit to each other, that kind of thing. That's why people think that is Dean going to be a heel? Is Dolph going to be a heel? No, they're not going to be a heel. It's just like I said, because it's two faces kind of thing. You can't have one person be an asshole heel and then one person just defend himself as a face. You have to have these guys kind of butt heads, go at each other, take cheap shots, that kind of thing. That's what we're seeing. That's why it's like I said, it's not heel tendencies. It's just them going at each other. That's all it is.
And Juan wants to know who is the top baby faces. You ask me, and I'll let them obviously give their opinions. For SmackDown, it's John Cena, even though he's not for the title. And for Raw, I would obviously have to say Finn Balor. I would have
I was
to
going to say Finn Balor.
Yeah. Jordan, if you have any questions, we can keep going. And we'll keep going for another 20 minutes if you guys have a bunch of questions. Juan knows. I mean, Juan loves talking to us. Andrew and Kyle, who do you think top baby faces?
Top baby faces, I mean, I would agree with you, really, because, yeah, SmackDown, John Cena, even though he's not in the main title picture, he's still, no matter what brand he's on, doesn't matter, he'll still be top baby face of the company, he doesn't need a title to make him, like, the top face kind of thing. And for Raw, I mean, the only guy you could really pick is Finn Balor because he's really he's in that main event picture now. He's the leading face kind of guy since Reigns. I mean, he's not a baby face anyway kind of thing. But, I mean, Balor really is just Balor on Raw. He's kind of leading and taking charge as the lead baby face.
Andrew?
What do you think, Andrew? It's kind of hard
John
to say.
Cena's always been the face, but, like, in terms of, like, the current product, for SmackDown, I want to say your top face is Dean Ambrose, as questionable as he is sometimes. And your top heel on Raw has got to be Finn Balor, especially what we see with Roman Reigns and how he's been quote-unquote demoted. So.
We have 2 more questions, one being, and I'm going to make a question out of Juan's statement. He was asking, are you guys hyped about Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins? And then Jordan Ramsey has a question we will answer after. But here's the first question I'm going to add with Juan. What are our top 3 most hyped matches for SummerSlam? I'll give my 3. Number 1 being John Cena versus AJ Styles. Number 2 being Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. I'm actually really excited for that. And number 3 being the women's title.
Excuse me, do you have to even ask?
I know I don't have to ask,
Just
but
Randy Orton,
take a
Randy
pick.
Orton, Randy
Take a
Orton.
pick.
I'm not. Look, I can give the picks and be fucking dead on, but go.
What do you guys think? If you guys had to choose, what do you think my top three are?
Well, it'd have to be Randy Orton number 1, Brock Lesnar,
Brock Lesnar number 2,
and
and
then
Randy Orton
my
number
second
3.
match would be Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose, and number 3 is Eva. No, I'm joking. Number 3 is a toss-up for me. I'm going to go with the women's match because you got really hyped for that one last week.
You're pretty good so far. Like I would say, number one would be Brock versus Orton. I've been waiting 14 and a half years for that. I would definitely say number 2, surprisingly, would be the women's match, Charlotte versus Sasha Banks, and number 3 would have to be. It's a toss-up. I mean, I love John Cena, AJ Styles, but I kind of really want to see what Finn Balor and Seth Rollins have to offer. So I'm going to say number 3 is that.
What about you, Kyle?
So, Blake, what were yours again? Because I'm going to see, I might have the same thinking as you.
Cena, Styles, Finn Balor, Rollins, and then it's the women's title match.
Okay, yeah. I agree with you for the most part. Definitely Cena and Styles number 1 because that's still, I mean, even though they had the match before, it's still 15 years in the making. Amazing to see them two in the ring. Rollins and Balor, that's my number 2. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be great. Two guys who really, I mean, there's a lot of guys who pioneered NXT, but I feel like Rollins and Balor really are the two like standouts at everybody else that's come from NXT. And I see them in the ring, especially for the like new title they're making, which it looks okay. I'm not hyped for it, but still, I think they're definitely going to do great as the main event or a co-main event kind of thing. Number 3, it's difficult. I want to say Randy and Brock, but also the women's match is really going to tear down the house. And I'm glad to see the women's division really like getting hyped and actually doing great things. But I mean, Randy and Brock is really getting to me. I'm going to have to pick that as my number 3. Very close, as it's almost a tie between the women's match, but Randy and Brock is in my number 3. Takes a little bit more.
I got this wrong. Jordan Ramsey did not ask a question. It's more of a statement, and you guys can go off of the statement. He says, I think before John Cena retires, he's going to be going for another run with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, or have one more run.
Okay.
Do you guys think that's actually going to happen, or are we just going to see, him feuding with pointless people?
Honestly, go ahead,
yeah,
Kyle.
you take it, Andrew. No, because I'm still thinking. You can take this one.
Honestly, if it were me, I'm looking at it from what the company has said, and I'm looking at it from historically speaking. So like, from the company standpoint, they have gone up publicly and said repeatedly that people like John Cena and Randy Orton, guys that have been on top of the company for 14, 15 years, are going to take a back seat. They're going to stay in the smaller picture and help develop the younger talent. But with that said, this is John Cena, after all. He's the poster boy, the replacement of Hulk Hogan. When you look at the top superstars in the company, everybody knew who Hulk Hogan is, regardless of you being a WWE fan or not. John Cena's the same thing. You can't go down the street without knowing who John Cena is. I mean, even if it's just from the memes. John Cena has 15 world championships. Currently, Ric Flair has 16 world championships. Now, if John Cena were to challenge for another title and win, that would tie him for Ric Flair. Now, for somebody like John Cena, who is getting up there in a world title count, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually try to shoot for him surpassing Ric Flair. But at the same time, if you remember right, and if you've been a fan for a while, Ric Flair came back as a competitor and repeatedly went after the WWE Championship, trying to get to that 17th and never made it. So it could be like one of those scenarios where he's just trying to outdo Ric Flair and just doesn't make it there, or it actually does. So, I mean, it's a real big toss-up whether or not the company's going to put the company on Cena's back for 2 more runs, and whether or not it's something that they think is going to be profitable for him and his career going forward.
I have one more question, and then we're going to be ending the show. We're being going on for 50 minutes. And here it is. Does John Cena break his losing streak at SummerSlam this year?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a
Yes.
great question. Really?
I think he's gonna tie it up 1-on-1 with AJ Styles and set up AJ and John Cena Part 3.
For what pay-per-view, though? Because after SummerSlam, we don't have anything until Survivor Series.
I mean, I would think it would have to be something like Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, but I don't see them waiting that long
Why not?
to give him the third match.
Why not have one of them have the title? Well, no, because Ambrose. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't want to see them. Honestly, this is kind of like, okay, I've already seen it once. I want to see it again. It's like, which are you? Any of you two are like super hardcore Star Wars fans?
No.
Andrew,
A little bit.
did you watch the movie more than once?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like when the new Star Wars came out, Episode 7. You go to the midnight premiere. You see it, and it's amazing. Because it was. It's an amazing movie, and immediately, like, I want to see that again. You see it the second time, it's just as good, but it's like, I'm good now. I don't want to see it again. If I do, I'm going to buy it on DVD. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, I'm kind of like, I want to see it again because, it's, you know, something that we thought would never happen. And that basically be it. If they wrestle again, I want it for a title, not for some story, you know?
Right, just to say I'm better than you.
But I mean, a lot of people don't, but I still consider this Cena Styles 3 because the first match was 1-on-1. We saw Styles win that. Controversial, but I mean, as a heel would, it was perfectly. And then at Battleground, we saw, I mean, I consider that Cena and Styles 2, even though it was a tag team match, because we did see Cena pin Styles. So that's basically, okay, Styles has a win over Cena, and then Cena has a win over Styles, so here's the match to settle it kind of thing. And I definitely do, I mean... Well, okay, I'm trying to remember. Didn't Jericho come out on top of Styles and Jericho kind of thing, Blake?
Yeah, because it was a 3-match series when Styles debuted. Styles beat him on Raw. Jericho beat him on SmackDown. Styles won at Fastlane. Then they turned into Y2AJ. Chris Jericho turned heel, and then at WrestleMania, Jericho won, and that was it.
Yeah, so, I mean, as much as I think Cena would win this because he's returning, he has a bad SummerSlam streak, excuse me, and since he's returning, he could really use, like, a big win kind of thing. But, I mean, we're saying that it's Cena who doesn't really need a big win. It's more Styles who, especially being a heel, he needs this push kind of thing to propel him into a title picture. Like, even if it's, whether it's the IC title or whether it's the world title, one of those, he could really need this win to do that, and the perfect guy to do it, as much as I don't want to say it, is Cena. So I could definitely see Styles winning at SummerSlam, ending the feud kind of thing, and moving on to face... Hell, that'd be perfect. He could face Ambrose next after SummerSlam. That'd be a perfect situation to have.
I really think AJ Styles deserves to have this WWE title at least once.
Oh, he does.
He needs I think he really does need to have it once. But
He'll have it.
who do we think will win at SummerSlam? Wait till the prediction show, my friend.
Yeah, that's definitely going to win. I would love to predict it.
That is one thing that we do not do. And this isn't talking down upon you. This is just in general for the people that are watching. We do not like giving our especially me. I don't like giving my predictions before a prediction show. I actually did it yesterday, if you want the truth. But I like to wait for the prediction show because that's the beauty of that show. But
yeah, I will say, though, real quick, I don't want to cut you off, but I will say, though, I'm not predicting, but if we do see Styles come out on top in him against Cena, we see Ambrose come out on top, I easily can foresee we have a face-heel feud between them going for the title. I think that'll be amazing to see. I'm not predicting who wins, but if we do see that, I'm praying we see those two guys go up against each other, Styles goes up for the title, and then whatever happens after that happens, but that would be perfect to see that.
Well, I mean, you both have given the show an 8, which is crazy.
I thought it was a great show.
Any final thoughts before we head off?
No, I definitely do think, though, this show was definitely a huge step up from last week's SmackDown. And, I mean, I might be a little bit generous giving it an 8, but I do think it was a great show, especially compared to last week's SmackDown, which really was like a big letdown for the first show. I thought it was a great show coming out of it. We saw a lot of great things that ran extremely smoothly, and I'm excited for next week.
I will say I'm a little blissed off that we didn't see Alexa Bliss.
Juan asked, even though I answered in chat, are you guys excited for Roman Reigns versus Rusev? I mean, not really, but it's refreshing to see Roman Reigns not in the main title and forced down our face 4 times a night. So,
I mean, I'll say this: in the coming weeks of Raw, it really depends how they build this feud, if they do well with it, and how well they do with Rusev against Reigns. That will make. I'm not excited for it yet, but I mean, they could make it. They could hype it up on Raw. We could definitely see it hyped up being a great feud. It just depends how they work it.
Honestly, if WWE were smart, they would have Rusev dominate Reigns, and Reigns lose it like he did at the pay-per-view. I think it was right after Money in the Bank or at Money in the Bank, where he lost it for the first time, and just recreate that moment. Only have him turn heel.
Survivor Series of TLC, when he lost it on Triple H and just fucked Triple H up, is what you're talking about.
hmm
But I think that's going to do it for us, for Andrew Bask and Kyle Laporte and Blake Carter. But before we go, be sure and reminder once again, if you guys are enjoying what you're listening to, hit that like button. And again, it's free to support us. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. Another thing is tomorrow we're going to be, again, I don't know if it's live or it's going to be pre-recorded, but we are going to have in-game state of video games. It's going to be a great episode. Again, we're talking about how next-gen consoles, being the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, how games were super hyped, like Watch Dogs, Call of Duty Ghosts, Battlefield 4, stuff like that. And we're going to be talking about if it was good or if it was bad. We're going to be going into a lot of debate, which is going to be great. Saturday is Keeping It Real. Again, you can actually go watch last Saturday's. I did that one on my own. And then next Thursday will be Next Big Thing. Again, reminder, there's no Next Big Thing this Thursday. Again, also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Our Twitter is @Realest Podcast, and all you have to do on Facebook is search The Realest Podcast. For Andrew Bass and Kyle Laporte, I am Blake Carter, and until next time, peace out.